All right, back here on All Ball, Mike Yam and Lamar Hurd with you. Trade that shocked everyone. We already touched on Luka. Talk a little bit about Super Bowl around the corner. On Sunday, story hit my inbox. Chip Kelly. I see his name in the subject line, and I said, "Oh boy, what is going on, Lamar?" Dude, legend, obviously. I didn't know, candidly, like when you see his name, like you just don't know. Like obviously, look, he coached in the NFL. There's a lot of people who think he's an innovator, but when Pete Carroll takes the job with the Raiders, you go, all right, how's this dude building his staff? And to me, it's pretty cool because now he goes from being at UCLA. He says, "Hey, I'm out. I'm going to go to Ohio State. We're going to go win a national championship," and continues to elevate that stock and is now going to be the offensive coordinator for the Las Vegas Raiders. This is cool to me. And I think it's huge because I think from a culture standpoint, amazing to have Pete Carroll in the building. Wasn't sure what to make of it with the 70-plus-year-old guy getting a head coaching job. But with Chip there, an innovator, a guy who's done it at multiple stops, where you start to think, hey, what do I pull from those previous jobs that I've had, and how do I be a better coach? And Lamar, I think I'm fascinated by the individual growth and what we're going to see, because I don't think Pete Carroll posed the trigger on this if he doesn't think Chip has learned from some of those previous experiences. And I also think it screams, hey, what's working at the college level that we can implement at the NFL level? You always see this spiral. And I don't know, you coached, younger guys. Do you see that youth basketball impacting college, impacting the NBA, or is it reversed there? Because on the football side, I think it's,
I see more reverse, maybe.
Right? I think it's reversed too, because I think on the football side, what you see in high school, you eventually see in college, or you eventually see in the NFL. I don't know if I'd say that is the case for what we're seeing on the basketball side.
Yeah, let me make sure I'm following you right. I think on the basketball side, the lower levels follow the higher levels.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay,
Yeah. I to me, that's the case. So from that perspective, I absolutely love Chip going there. And once again, this is a guy that doesn't have to worry about recruiting. I don't want to speak for him, but I got to imagine that's part of the reason why.
A lot of college coaches say that. That's one of the most exciting parts. You're done with recruiting.
Especially nowadays, Lamar. We did one of our early episodes of All Ball. Like, just think about what these guys have to do, recruiting their own players, dealing with NIL, dealing with the transfer portal. Like, you get those opportunities, why wouldn't you bounce?
I get it. I get why they do it. It's a different world. And so I think we'll continue to see a lot more movement like that because of that. All the changing landscapes, people have to figure out, kind of like we were talking about with the Mavs, what's worth the hassle and what's not. No matter how good the job is or the environment or the player, is it worth what you consider the other side of that?
Totally. Only other thing that I would add here from the weekend. So last week, East-West Shrine Bowl talked about.
Yeah, how did that go, by the way?
Awesome. I got to tell you, a lot of fun, man. A lot of fun. It was. I didn't call you to gas me up because you did that during the show for me, so I appreciate that. It was actually. I didn't say this on air. I feel like I could say this now because the game is done. My number one task, Lamar, was not to embarrass myself and I said this to you, I think there's studio guys that go to the booth and maybe lack a little self-awareness. Like I think it's two different skill sets. You know how I am about like the craft. Like when I think about hosting shows, there's a genuine love that I have for doing it and trying to do it the right way. And I think the same can be said for the top guys who do it in the booth. Like one of our dudes, and I probably should have called him, one of our really good friends who does watch All Ball, because we got a text from him the other day, is JB Long, right? Like JB you guys did games together. You guys were an unbelievable pair. I thought you were one of the best pairs that we had, an entertaining broadcast. But like, I didn't want to just step into it and make a fool on myself. I don't think I did that, which is a win. But it was awesome, man. Like the entire week, you're watching practices, you're getting to know some of these players. I know I told a couple stories about some West Coast guys, and then you get some dudes that just level up. And one of the best stories, Eastern Washington kid, Efton Chisholm, one of our good buddies too, Michael Bumpus, who played for the Seahawks, also worked at Pac-12 Network. Bump trained him. So I reached out to Bump and I was like, yo, man, like this dude is balling out, a late add to the practice and to the team, gets out there. You meet with the coaching staff and they're calling him Little Cooper Kupp, and he broke, a couple Cooper Kupp's records. So to me, that was one of the best storylines. But I'd also add this. I did not. I was in studio for the Senior Bowl. My buddy Rhett Lewis was calling that game on NFL Network. So we're doing the pregame. There's one story. Jack Besh, goes out there and, for those who don't know, his brother, he lost his brother about a month ago in the terrorist attacks down in New Orleans. And so there's like this emotional heaviness around this dude. Balls out in the game. And if you missed it, I actually think it's worth reliving what happened in that matchup.
Last shot as the American team makes their move. Hennigan on the move. Looking. Yes. Got it. Jack Besh has his Mobile moment.
So you can see there, and just to kind of rehash here, Lamar, what we saw. I mean, we're talking about like a final 12-play drive to go for a win. And I'm sitting on set, and we're all looking at each other as like, this ball's got to go to Besh. And it's the game-winning touchdown. He's the game MVP. Lamar, we love sports because, it's entertaining, right? But like, if you think about what sports has done for us personally, right? Like not only from an employment standpoint, but just like a life perspective, like all those lessons. And I know it sounds really cheesy, but it's like moments like that when you watch it, you're like, man, like this is why I love this particular sport. It was one of the coolest moments that I've seen in a long time.
I bet it felt that way. I'm glad you got to be a part of that and witness it. And somebody like you, I know, cares about that type of thing. So cool moment all around.
Yeah. All right, man. I gave you sort of my Super Bowl pick before we wrap up. Who's your squad?
I don't know enough to have an
Oh,
educated
you just go 15
on this, but one of our really close family friends is a Philadelphia Eagles fan.
Okay.
And she unfortunately just had her grandmother pass away. So for that, I would love to see Philadelphia win to maybe just serve as a good point of cheer for her and her family. They can enjoy that. So I'll go with the Eagles.
I love that. And I thought you were going to have to go Kansas City because of all of the attachment to the Dallas Cowboys being in that division. But nonetheless, Lamar,
No.
as classy as ever, rolling with a storyline that'll be helpful for everyone. But appreciate everyone checking out All Ball. Next week, a little bit of a recap and a look ahead. We got NBA All-Star break, obviously, and all those festivities and everything around that. Trade deadline, the fallout of what we can expect. And of course, we're knocking on the door just a few weeks away from conference tournaments in college basketball. So we got it all covered for you here on All Ball.